Haki nightmare. Nightmare.
Hello, you guys, and welcome in to another One Piece post-game video. Today, we're here to look through the comment section of chapter 1187, and guys, I'm gonna take a shot in the dark, but I do think this is gonna be the Sanji Conqueror's Haki celebration video. That's just kind of how it goes, man. That is pretty much what the entirety of the chapter was leading towards, from the cover to the title. And then even at the very end, dude, like Sanji was just present all throughout, and it's hella dope. And I just gotta say this. I know we're gonna get a couple of comments that say this here in a little bit. It can still be Usopp's arc too. Dude, so many Straw Hats so far have seen individual focus in Elbaf, and it just keeps on going, dude. Sanji is just the latest person to get some love from Oda. Before Sanji, brother, it was Brook. Brook had 4 chapters pretty much to himself, give or take. And then before that, we had Frankie with Super Vega Cola. Will that be permanent? I hope so. Before that, Robin and Scopper, mainly Robin is who we're focusing on. Robin ran to St. Somers to stop him. And that was a nice 1v1 scene we got out of that, even though she did lose in the end. Chopper went around one-shotting Domiverse Giants. And then, lest we forget, Robin also had an emotional moment when she reunited with Saul. Dude, the Straw Hats just keep on winning as time goes on. So when it comes to Usopp not getting anything yet, I'm not too worried about it, right? Hell, I even think the clock, the pendulum, will swing over to Nami. It'll swing over to Zoro. It'll end with Luffy. I think all of these Straw Hats, maybe even Jinbei, will get something. You could argue Jinbei had the firefighter scene, but I'm not going to count that one, man. You know, I make fun of Jinbei because he hasn't really done much for a while outside of just putting out fires, but man, maybe even Jinbei will get something. Fingers crossed. It's never too late in an arc. All it genuinely takes is 1 to 2 good chapters. That is what Sanji got, and brother, the Sanji fans are freaking feasting. Can't blame them. So, here we go, on to the comment section. Top comment we have from 1187. They say, iconic that Zoro is leaking Conquerors unintentionally, and Sanji is suppressing Conquerors unintentionally, making a perfect parallel. I agree. I did not pick this up at first, but I saw this comment, so I just immediately had to drop that goddamn heart emoji, brother. That is a good pickup. So, this one says, my man Zoro out there hyping up Sanji when he's not around. He always does that. Dude, when Sanji is not in the room, Zoro does hype him up. He always believes in Sanji. If anything, that is the beauty of a nice rivalry. They keep on pushing each other further and further, and they also believe in each other. That is just how it goes, and that is why Sanji versus Zoro debates are always a little bit silly, because in reality, you're guaranteed to win and have more enjoyment if you simply like both characters, and that is where I think a majority of fans actually are. The fact that Luffy is mad at Imu for calling him the wrong name, while all Luffy does is call everyone by the wrong name, is fantastic. Yeah, that's pretty funny. Hey, here's the thing though. In Luffy's defense, he doesn't do it on purpose, and by the end of the arc, he'll eventually get your name right. It just takes a little bit. He doesn't do it on purpose. That being said though, come next chapter or during the Luffy versus Imu battle, I hope we get the reveal of Joy Boy's actual name, because Joy Boy, to our knowledge, should just be an epithet, a title, a nickname. What's his first name, last name? Does he hail from the monkey family, or is he from something else entirely? Did he have the D? I'm assuming he did. I feel like he is the originator of the D, but that right there is something we don't know with 100% certainty. Oda still has not revealed all the cards of the Void Century. Hopefully, during the Imu battle, he starts flipping those cards over, brother. This one says, this time, there are no number 2 and number 3 for Sanji. Both those enemies are God Knights in Super Saiyan mode. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. And I just really hope that Super Saiyan mode is good. I hope it is the buff of a lifetime, because here's the thing. If we're fighting the St. Somers that we've seen in the past, it's gonna be a bum of a battle. You know, like Zoro's just gonna go up there, slice and dice. Somers won't be able to do anything. And I'd argue the same for Killingham, because, dude, Sanji beat Killingham beforehand, and he didn't have to have this flashback. You know how crazy that is? Sanji managed to deal with Killingham without having this internal conversation about Conqueror's Haki and how to get it, because Killingham was that much of a bum. But now that they are in Super Saiyan mode, as you put it, I really do hope they are those guys, because we gotta remember that Haki blooms in the midst of battle. So I'm assuming that the more extreme diff a battle is, the more you can likely grow from it. So again, I really hope that Super Saiyan mode makes Somers and Killingham, I'm not kidding when I say this, Yonko Commander Plus level. I'm talking about stronger than King. I'm talking about stronger than Queen. We need these guys to be freaking monsters so that our monsters can eat. All I'm saying, man. Because before this Omen buff came into existence, Somers and Killingham, they were being dealt like the Ginyu Force. But Killingham, now that he has the Omen buff, what Oda did, instead of double stacking his Hagoromos, he simply made Killingham's white flame clouds black. That's kind of crazy. Because we're still wondering what a black flame cloud means versus a white one. Because for the white side, we had Luffy, we have Yamato, and at one point we had Killingham. But now Killingham has switched sides to the dark Hagoromo Club with the Gorosei, Rob Lucci, and Kaku. What does that mean? Does that mean that eventually, if Luffy gets like this demonic ore, if Luffy becomes evil mode, will he also get a black Hagoromo? Can you simply just change colors of that? I wonder. That is a very nice detail. This comment says Loki is a Whitebeard type individual. He don't need both kidneys. He got two hands and he's putting them to use, but he doesn't run. That's great and all. Love Loki, love Whitebeard. They are health bar monsters, bullet sponges. That being said, I really hope Loki knows when to quit, because I don't want him to die, man. I don't think he will, but it's like, man, at some point, you kind of just back away and recover for a little bit, which I do think he's going to do, because at the end of this chapter, right, we ended with Saint Nerona Emu versus Yonko Monkey D. Luffy. So it seems like Loki might be down for a minute, at least, right? We might have one or two chapters with Luffy and Emu, and then after Loki gets a chance to catch his breath, then he's probably going to join back in hybrid mode. A big question, which nobody's really asked so far, but does Loki have an awakening? He does, obviously, have a hybrid form, but when he shows up in hybrid form, will it have the Hagoromo? Will he have the flame cloud? And a good question would be, what color will the flame cloud be? Will it be white like Luffy, Yamato? Well, Yamato, we don't know if she's actually awakened. I'm just throwing her in there because she does have the flame cloud. Or will it be black like the Gorosei, because he is a black dragon? And Nidhogg is kind of crazy too. I don't know. Colors, man. Hopefully in the next SBS, somebody drops the big question saying, hey Oda, what does the Hagoromo colors mean? Can you please explain them? That would be dope. But yeah, as far as Loki's awakening goes, I like to imagine he does have one. He seems like the type of character that would. I mean, brother, he is damn near a Yonko level character. Him having an awakening, I think just makes sense. You know, why not, brother? Why freaking not? He already has advanced conquerors. He already has like future sight. He's got armament. Give him the awakening. There's no reason not to. Unless they'll just make him too broken, but he's already kind of broken. Sanji stocks are finally paying off. Oh, dude, they always were. You know, the way I view it is that you should never bet against a Straw Hat. The Straw Hats are always going to be up. But for Sanji stocks, I'd say this is more unique because there are people who do not like Sanji, right? So I understand, you know, the Sanji stocks are paying off. And the next one I do think that's going to pay off might be Usopp. And kind of like Sanji, we're at the point where people are like, oh, I don't know about Usopp anymore. I don't know if he's going to do this or that. It's like, oh, I get it. You know, sometimes that just happens. But yeah, the Sanji stocks are paying off. I am excited to see if Oda will go with the heavily theorized, much believed in theory that he's going to get Black Flames one day. I hope so, man. Dude. All we need is for Sanji to also have a flashback of Emu, where Emu used the Black Flames to kick him, and he's like, you know what? Maybe I should do that. Oh, you'd be so fire if Sanji gets black flames on his leg alongside Conqueror's Haki. He hits Killingham, and then Killingham, I doubt Oda's gonna do this, but Killingham has dialogue where he's like, holy crap, this is a kick that Emu would do. Ah! Yeah, compare the Sanji kick to Emu's kick. Please, Oda, do it. Maybe it's too soon, though. Maybe it's too soon. This says, big ups Gaban's observation Haki for being able to sense Sanji's COC presence, and also that he's mentally holding himself back from just looking at him. Yeah, that's wild. Like, brother, what does this even look like? Like, does he look at Sanji and then just like, I don't know, a text bubble pops up on top of him? Like, does it have a specific look? Is it a ball of hatred? Not too sure. It'd also be really cool if like maybe his Conqueror's Haki was like shooting out, but unlike Zoro, whose Conqueror's Haki is leaking extremely, maybe for Sanji, it's being blocked by a bubble? Who knows, man? Who knows? But now that we know that Gaban has this level of observation Haki, I wonder if Sanji will eventually get here too. Because I think he should, right? This is his Roger Pirate parallel. Sanji is the master of observation Haki amongst the trio. I say why not? And maybe Sanji's is more specific in the future. Like maybe instead of sensing if somebody's a conqueror or not, he senses the love. Like, oh, this is your emotion. You're feeling this right now. I think it'd be pretty thematically fitting. This says Sanji's worst nightmare isn't his family. It is him becoming like his family. Blackleg Sanji versus Nightmare Vinsmoke Sanji. A dark mirror match with the embodiment of all his doubts and fears. Now that is a fight where he'll unlock cock. I like it. You know, I went for the Vinsmoke family at first with Judge, Ichiji, Niji, Yonji, but maybe it's not 1v4. Maybe it's simply, like you said, a 1v1, a dark mirror matchup against the worst version of himself, a woman beater version of Sanji. That would be pretty damn cool, and I would not mind that whatsoever. The big question becomes, will he be able to permanently beat Dark Nightmare Sanji? Yes, this would be great for his personal growth, but at the same time, can a nightmare be fully put down? Because from what we saw, when the Elbaphian nightmares were put down, Killingham simply blew the horn, and then they just kept on getting back up. They kept on respawning. So hopefully, if Sanji fights Nightmare Sanji, he also finds a way to just put him down in the dirt so that Killingham can't bring him out again. Another big question is whether or not Killingham can bring out the nightmare while Sanji is awake, or will he have to put Sanji to sleep and then pull it out? Because I don't know if Sanji would actually get hit by like a sleep beam. But then again, the sleep beam was pretty fast, right? Killingham looked at Sommers, did this, and then Sommers fell asleep ASAP. So I guess we'll see. You know, Killingham is a really unique opponent, and unlike St. Sommers, we don't really know how Killingham's abilities work. We don't know how deep his bag is. So this will be really fascinating. This comment says, Sanji getting Conqueror's Haki in Usopp's arc. The meme keeps on going. I don't know if anybody here plays Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle, but there's an ongoing meme where Kid Buu, literally Kid Buu, the iconic Majin, has not gotten a legendary card in 11 years of the game's history. So many other bozos have gotten LRs before Kid Buu. And now, whenever they release a new unit as an LR, they're like, oh, we really got this guy as an LR before Kid Buu. The meme has just kept on going on for all these years. And that's kind of what it feels like for Usopp. It's like, oh, Frankie got an upgrade before Usopp. Robin got a scene before Usopp. Nami's getting focused before Usopp. It's like, yeah. I get it. But one day, things will swing in his favor. And speaking of swinging, a character that just swung by near Usopp is Loki and Ragnar. This is going to be their first time officially meeting. So I guess we'll see if the Usopp Ragnar theories actually start becoming true. I know. People are like, wait, what? Usopp Ragnar? How's that even possible? Ragnar's too big. I get it, but there's ways it could work, right? Maybe Ragnar, because he's mythical, he can shrink down. You know, maybe it's one of those things where he picks up the hammer and it shrinks down to Usopp's size, just because that's how weapons work in the world of One Piece. Kind of like Enma, where it's like the size of 2 human beings when carried by Odin, and then with Zoro, it's like a regular sword. Maybe Ragnar can shrink. You know, maybe Ragnar can shrink. And Usopp, throughout the entire series, even though he's a sniper, he has used a lot of hammers in his battles. I mean, just going out and listing some of them, he used a hammer against Chu. That's how he beat him. He used a hammer against Mr. Four and Miss Groundhog's Day. He used a hammer against Perona. He used it in the movies. He used it against Treble. Usopp and hammers, oddly enough, they go hand in hand. So, I am a believer in Usopp Ragnar theories. I don't think it has to happen soon, though. When it comes to characters getting time in the spotlight, until we leave the arc, I'm always going to be a believer that it can happen. Any day now, any week now, the main thing is to not rush it. Even with Sanji with Conqueror's Haki, right? We all knew it was coming, but now that we have the path in front of us, am I expecting Sanji to get it next week? Probably not. It might be a thing that we build up to slowly, and then in like 4 to 5 chapters, boom, Sanji has Conqueror's Haki. It's all about patience. All right, so now that we're done with our Zen meditation session, it is time to go to the next comment. They say, I feel like if killing him brings out Sanji's nightmare, I would think it could be how Sanji sees himself with his Jerema powers, so he's literally fighting him. Yes, and one thing that could make this very unique, by the way, going back to this comment up here, it doesn't even have to look like Sanji, right? When it comes to inner turmoil and how you view yourself, sometimes you don't look like you. It's not the person you see in the mirror. It's who you see deep down. So maybe this Sanji is like, I don't know, 5 feet tall. Wait, that's not that tall. Maybe this Sanji is 50 feet tall. Maybe he has like 5 eyebrows. Maybe he's always grinning because he's malicious. And maybe there's like, I don't know, women hanging off of his waist, screaming in agony. That could be how he sees himself. Oh, and also, inside of Nightmare Sanji, in the cockpit, on his chest, there's Vinsmoke Judge and his brothers just controlling him inside. And then, maybe like, I don't even know at this point. On his shoulder, there's Reiju in a cage. Sanji, help, please! And then Nightmare Sanji just keeps on zapping her, and she's like, Sanji, why? Dude, Nightmare Sanji can genuinely look like a Persona enemy because this is how he views himself. If you played Persona, you'll get that reference. We have the characters in the real world, but in the dark zone, they look crazy. It's really just their emotions manifested. And you could end up with the most twisted abominations. It's getting late. Next comment says, oh my god, title references the Sanji moment. Zoro glazing Sanji against Summers. Oda glazing Sanji by confirming COC. Gabon carrying the Sanji agenda. This chapter is full on Sanji glaze. Yes, it is, dude. Dude, the Sanji glaze has always been there. I remember, dude, was it like 2 years ago? You guys remember that cover page where Sanji was reading a book? Obviously, I do not think this is what Oda was going for because it was fixed, but it said cocking. Oda meant to spell cooking, and like I said, that was fixed. But dude, when we saw cocking on Sanji's book, it was like, yo, it's confirmed. It's done. Oda's hinting at it, guys, any day now. Yeah, man. Oda loves Sanji. Never forget Oda does love Sanji. People often make fun of Sanji because he wasn't on the rooftop back in Wano. And, he doesn't know what Kaido looks like, which is a big meme. But we can't forget, dude, as much as people say it, Toei does like Sanji. Toei made a poster of Roof Piece and they kicked Killer out of the rooftop, brother. They put Sanji there instead. Yeah, Sanji is getting a lot of love here. Sanji's always been loved. You just had to look past the layers. This says, it's about time Sanji got Conquerors. I can't wait to see how this fight with Killingham plays out. Me too. I'm just wondering if it's gonna be next week or not. While the chapter does build up towards Sanji's moment, I do feel like we're gonna cut away for a bit. I feel like Oda's got us hooked, and now he's gonna let it sit for a little bit. He's gonna let us just kind of wiggle the hook deeper and deeper, and then he's gonna yank it like a fisherman. That's what's gonna happen here. I think come next chapter, we're gonna deal with the Loki, Ragnar, Brook, Shuri stuff, and then we'll get more Luffy and Emu, and then after that's all done, boom, Sanji fight, Zoro fight, Luffy fight, Loki joins in. That's how we're gonna do it. And also, speaking of fights, right? I was thinking about it because in the review video, I mentioned that I can't really see Luffy outright beating Emu in this arc while I can see Zoro and Sanji beating the God Knights. And I don't know why I didn't like click this in my mind, but if Sanji and Zoro win their respective battles, Imu's toast. Because we saw what happened when King Harold died. When King Harold died, Imu, gonna exaggerate the noise here, Imu was like,
What's an Elbaf?
great one, should we go? No! No! That took a toll on me. I can't risk anymore. Brother, if Zoro and Sanji beat Killingham and Sommers, Imu might just have to leave. We could say that yes, Imu was winning in the Luffy-Loki matchup, but he had to go. Because not only is he hitting a time limit, but his God Knight boys, Killingham and Sommers, they've been dealt with. Imu is forced to leave. Not because he wants to, but because his boys have disappointed him. I do think that'd be a decent way to diffuse all of Elbaf. Imu looks great, Zoro and Sanji look great, God Knight's dealt with, and hell, for Luffy and Loki, maybe they look great too, right? There's a way where I think everyone can win here. But maybe that's just me, right? We don't know how Elbaf is going to turn out. I still like the Vivi idea where Vivi shows up and then boom, Imu snatches her so we get something out of this island. Next comment says, bro, just putting random images now. Do I? I do. Wow, as a Sanji and Zoro fan, yes, you can be both. Zoro alluding to Sanji and Sanji finally getting his cock. Gotta be my favorite part of the arc by far. Oh, 100%. I always love it when they glaze each other, and don't let anybody tell you otherwise, but it is normal to like both characters. I think a majority of people do like both characters. It's just the minority fan base that's very toxic. They're just the loudest. That's all it is. That is all it is. Sorry. My cock king prophecy from the book finally came true. Yes. There we go. Somebody also knows what I was talking about. Yes, the cock book has come full circle. I need to buy the Sanji cookbook. I really do. And I don't know if you guys are interested in it, but that One Piece cooking game, Grand Gourmet, I get it. Everybody wants a One Piece fighting game. Everybody wants a One Piece action adventure. I feel you guys. But hear me out. The Grand Gourmet game, it looks pretty damn fire. We're probably even going to live stream it here on this channel when that game comes out too. So stay tuned for that, man. I love restaurant management. My daily job is restaurant management. So it all falls in line right there. And when you really think about it, I've seen people saying, oh, I can't believe we got this over all these other games. Brother, the people who are making the Grand Gourmet game, I guarantee you, they're not the same devs who would be working on a fighting game or action adventure game. You can cook two games at the same time. Just give them to different studios, right? Bandai, they can just license it out. But I will say this, Bandai Namco really sucks at licensing. China has One Piece fighting path. And if you've ever seen one of their cutscenes, God, they look immaculate. They make characters look so damn fire. Yes, it's a gacha game. Yes, it's mobile only. But that's still a game that should be out worldwide. But Bandai, dude, they're so stringent with that One Piece IP. I don't know why. Like, it's like they have a golden goose in the corner. The golden goose, pregnant. There's like 50 eggs just ready to pop out. But Bandai, Mr. Bandai, oh, do I have glasses here somewhere? I got an eye patch. Mr. Bandai just tapes the butthole shut so the eggs can't come out. Why? Who knows? Who on earth knows, brother? I do not know why more One Piece games aren't in existence. Cash cow. Cash cow. We would all pay money for One Piece games, but they just don't provide. I can't comprehend it. I really can't. Next comment. I think we're about to wind down here in a second. I'm excited for the badass one-liner Sanji is about to drop when he unlocks Conqueror's Haki. I wonder if it's gonna have something to do with love. Love thyself. I am the Love King. I love killing ham. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not good with one-liners, man. I'm not good with one-liners. This says, does this mean the alias Mr. Prince now is going to turn into Mr. King? It might. Hey, it might. That line at the end about having to be a king. I've always thought that everyone is capable of conquering, but only few can now because of the oppressing world Imu has been upholding. That's not a bad way to look at it. Yeah, when it comes to Conqueror's Haki, there's still so much we don't know about it in terms of how to get it. And for Sanji, it looks like Oda is kind of diving into it, right? Because beforehand, it's like, all right, you're born with it, or you have to have ambitions. For Sanji, it could be both. It could be one or the other. But I do like the idea that if you just simply have this mentality over time, you can change your mentality. If you love yourself, you can get it. I do like this a lot. And Sanji, I think it is well deserved. Finally, Mr. Prince becomes Mr. King. You know who has qualities of a king too? The Soul King. Okay, yeah, the Soul King. Hey, the Soul King, I think we'll do something else later. I think Brook and his awakening, if he gets it, would be absolutely cracked. This comment says, I think the joke here was that Frankie and Brook can't feel the cold through their hands because of their bodies. Yes, this one, I will admit, unfortunately, flew over my head. I was cooking because here's the thing. The ice block is still supernatural because it's very tough. But yeah, in terms of temperature, it flew over me. Frankie and Brook couldn't tell if it's cold because they're not human. Or they were human, but now they're like super different and they can't feel temperatures. That's pretty good though. Somehow, within the wide span of One Piece, I don't think Oda's ever made temperature jokes with them. So it's pretty good. I like it. I like the humor, man. It does give me that pre-time skip vibe. And another thing I do want to bring up, one thing I forgot to mention as well in the review video, but I really like the detail that when Imu sends the sticky bomb Stigma Flames to Loki and Luffy, when he just shoots out the sword, wow, that looked kind of crazy. When he shoots out the sword, it starts off as a bell and it rings and then it meets the other bell ring that is the Stigma Bomb, and that's how it all connects. I thought that was really fascinating, and it kind of does remind me of a mariner and how they have bells to bring ships to port. I was like, yo, like, is that kind of what Oda's going for here? Like, you know, hinting that maybe Imu was sailing at one point, hinting that Imu might have been a pirate back in the past, because I do think that's pretty cool. And also, in a weird way, it kind of reminds me of the Harley text where they say, oh, they will meet again. It's like, oh yeah, look, Imu's bell did meet the Stigma Bomb at the end of the day. The next comment, they said, I just said it before, but I'll mention it again. Sanji fighting Kiden is symbolic. It would have been symbolic if he had fought Summers as well, but for the Kiden lore, it says that the shift of a Kiden is an omen of a new ruler. And with Gabon telling Sanji to become a king, his fight with Killingham is there for him to unlock Conqueror's Haki. W reference from Oda. Oh yeah, dude. I believe we actually read this comment back, I'd say about a year ago, when we did polls about whether or not Sanji will get Conqueror's Haki. And this was something we scratched on before. And let me tell you, brother, it is a good scratch. It is a really good pickup. And yeah, for Summers, dude, Sanji versus Summers also made a lot of sense too. I really thought, I mean, granted, a lot of people thought that Sanji was going to fight that guy because Summers, dude, he is a food connoisseur. Oda built that up, and then we had the whole love thematic going on. Scopper and Summers were rivals at one point, apparently. I thought the Summers battle was going to go to Sanji. But nah, dude, like Oda switched it up. He did pull like an Uno reverse card here, and I think that's pretty damn cool, right? You know, going back to the poll, hopefully I throw it up right here. But yeah, like these were the poll results, but Oda played with our expectations in a good way. This chapter was just unwritten by Natasha Bedingfield. Release your inhibitions. Gabon talking to Sanji. Feel the rain on your skin. Oh, it's a song, right? No one else can feel it for you. Brook and Frankie not being able to feel the ice. Okay. Yeah, I'm not familiar with the song, but release your inhibitions. I can like hear it in my head. I think. This comment says, I'm just glad I stayed 10 toes with my boy Sanji. And now next Chopper and the Forest God. Chopper the Forest God, man. Hey, it's still there. You know, Oda, kind of like Sanji, but not really. He is building something up for Chopper with him being able to one-tap Domi Reversi. We're gonna get an explanation. We're gonna see that power again, and the reveal might be crazy. Is he the Forest God? Perhaps. Or is it simply the Human Fruit Awakening? Perhaps too. We'll see, man. I do think it's gonna swing over to Chopper again, man. That pendulum, brother, it is greased up with WD-40. This one says, the awakening of Sanji's exoskeleton allowed him to make his flames even hotter, turning them blue. Coating his legs in Conquerors may allow Sanji to go even further, achieving the black flames. Oh yeah. This is one way to do it. Another way, one way that I've kind of been leaning towards more and more as time has gone on, is that Sanji and Zoro will get Maki Omen demonic aura. And the reason I say that is because I mentioned in the video, but Luffy has been ascending to godhood, while Zoro and Sanji have been getting more and more hellish, right? Sanji with his Janbeis, Diable Janbei, Ifrit Janbei, they're devils, they're demons. Zoro, King of Hell. I think it would make sense if both of them got demonic Haki. I don't know if it's possible. Again, there's still so much we don't know about it, but if it is achievable, I think Sanji and Zoro are perfect candidates for it. It would be dope. It would be dope. Good thing I own several shares on Sanji's stock. And now the last comment, they say, Oda, from the beginning, named him Black like Sanji, so it's very fitting to have Black Flames as a new and last version of his flame technique. Also, if Sanji beats Killingham, probably Zaza and Nightmares will disappear. Oh, they will. They will. I think Killingham pretty much confirmed it in this chapter. Like, oh, yep, you're coming after me. Gotcha. Like, it makes sense. And we have seen that when Killingham goes down, the Nightmares go away too. So I do think there is credibility there. And what's really funny about this chapter, and Killingham specifically, is that Sanji showed up and he said, hey, I know your weakness. And Killingham just immediately spilled the beans. Oh, do you now? You got Conqueror's Haki, huh? Try it. Imagine if Sanji was just bluffing. Imagine if Sanji even had the wrong answer. And then here comes Killingham just telling us what to do. Like, for example, let's say Scopper has bad info. And he's like, oh, actually, the God Knights are allergic to salt. If you just throw salt at them, they die. And Sanji's like, I know your weakness, Killingham. And then Killingham's like, oh, really now? You know about Conqueror's Haki and how it can kill me? And then Sanji be like, wait, what? Yes. I know about it now, thanks to you. Dude, these God Knights, man, they are yappers. They're so funny. Between Killingham and Sommers, they might not be the strongest opponent before the Maki buff, but you gotta admit, they were always the most hilarious. But yeah, that's where we're gonna end this video, guys. Let me know your thoughts down below. Again, this was a fantastic chapter. It was one of those chapters where, legitimately, you read it, you start it, you click on the chapter, and then within 3 minutes, well, what seems like 3 minutes, you're already done. It flies by just like that. Sorry, that was some more Zen meditation. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I really freaking appreciate it. Make sure to drop a like and sub down below if you enjoyed this video, and if you want to see more One Piece content. Until next time, guys, I'll catch y'all later. Peace out, and stay safe, brothers.